back from 7.2 to 7.7. I told the doctor, I said, it's on the mountain. I was on my cruise recently in Europe, you couldn't get Mountain Dew. No, they didn't have, for 2.5 weeks, I had no Mountain Dew, I had to eat Coke.
I'll never pay attention, but everything's always on.
It is 7 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll begin with agenda item comments. Please come forward if you have any comments on agenda items only. Seeing none, we'll move forward to the consent agenda. Any item may be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately by the request of a commissioner.
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor respond by saying aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item number 4, special presentation, chicken ordinance discussion.
Mr. Stites, if you don't mind me offering some forward, I'll be very candid in that I did request that we bring this discussion back to the commission today. I do not expect that we will vote on the legalization today, but I do hope that we can form a consensus that allows our legal advisory to begin research to forming an ordinance in the future. That's all.
Last summer I did a full presentation. Given the nature of the agenda, if the commission's okay with it, I'm not going to do a full presentation on it. My main thing is looking at what you as a commission and the will that is, of what you would want regarding chickens. The first question is does the commission, in what I would draft, if anything, does the commission want to look at the legalization of chickens or fowl in the city? And then if yes, what kind of restrictions, prohibitions, permitting, even just a loose idea, so that way I can get an idea of what to draft and throw it at you by June, would be my timeline on that. But the first question is before we go into it, does the commission have a consensus of wanting to move forward to legalization of chickens?
Well, since you did this last year and I was here and the commissioner was here, could you recap what cities around us have ordinances or allow chickens?
Yep, Manhattan allows chickens. They're pretty broad on it. There's no crowing fowl, cannot become a public nuisance. Overland Park is one I looked at.
I'm talking about within 30 miles.
Okay, well, Manhattan does, I believe Abilene does. They have a permit, can only be in residential, no more than 6 hens. And then if you have more than 3 acres, you can get 3 more hens. But you also have a lot of setbacks. Harrington, I'm not sure that's close to 30, but that's
It's 24.
no more than, I've never counted it. It's always quicker than 30 minutes for me. No roosters, no more than 12 hens, 1 hen per 150 square feet. And those are the 3 that I saw. I think Clay Center allows them too.
Chapman?
I don't know Chapman offhand. This is one that didn't come up in my research last year.
Chapman does, to my understanding.
So,
I don't know about Milford.
They don't. They do not.
But he brought forward a couple of different ordinances. One was Overland Park,
yeah, Overland Park,
and
Yeah.
then, what was the other one?
Abilene and Manhattan and Harrington, and then also I looked at Austin, Texas, because I've been brought up before too.
Well, I'm supportive of authorization. No roosters, some chickens.
I think we have the opportunity to give the citizens what they've asked for 4 or 5 times now, within reason, I agree. Probably no roosters, let's not get into that, we're not gonna get totally agricultural, but a couple hens kept from a reasonable distance from structures, sight, sound, smell in mind, I'm receptive.
If you travel at all or read about Key West, they have chickens walking all around their town. That's a tourist destination. I'm not asking for that, but I'm saying that Austin, Texas allows them, I know, because my son had them when he first moved there, and you know, he's kind of got faded out of that part of the system, but he's had them before, and they used to be allowed in the community. And the county, of course, they have some restrictions too, don't they?
Probably.
The county did have recent discussions around chickens. There was concerns amongst some citizens and animal issues, but I digress. They did issue the conditional use permit because the property was under 3 acres. So my understanding is, per that meeting Monday, I don't know, I've slept since then, they have continued to allow those under 3 acres to have chickens and those over 3 acres to have chickens within reason. It's all about keeping your chickens on your property. And
Anyone
keeping
who wants to
them like
consider
that.
this needs to spend time with our people at the animal shelter.
I have,
They're more well-versed than anybody else in this town, because they have to deal with the problems. You know, there's a lot of responsible people that would probably do a good job. The problem is, we have to deal with the ones that aren't, and there are a lot of those. We have so many people that can't take care of a dog or cat in this town, which is why the shelters are full all the time, or they get into legal trouble. There's always something. It's not the people that take care of things we gotta worry about, it's the ones that don't. And there's a lot of those in this low socioeconomic status town that aren't gonna do that. They're just gonna walk over Tractor Supply, get stuff, go home and have fun.
Commissioner Landis, I'm honestly glad that you brought up those pain points. I watched every single city commission meeting where this topic was ever brought up, and those were typically the points you brought up. Number 1, animal abandonment, and number 2, the state of our animal shelter. I'll start with the animal shelter piece. I've been doing a lot of legwork this year. I've talked to the animal shelter. I've talked to the police on behalf of animal control. Candidly, no pun intended, I don't plan to put chickens on the plate of our animal shelter. It is my full intention to do what many of our local cities do and identify existing agricultural operations who would be happy to receive these chickens. My understanding is, in the current state, with them being illegal, we have acquired chickens from illegal circumstances in the past and simply provided them to those local agricultural operations. I do not see a risk at this time that they will inundate the shelter, because I'd like them to never show up at the shelter in general. In speaking with our police leadership, they have no concerns at this time that the reasonable legalization of chickens will exacerbate the bandwidth of their animal control officers at this time. Now, moving on to the conversation surrounding animal abandonment, I agree. We have a profound issue with cats and dogs being abandoned in Junction City. We see it from people moving, we see it from people PCSing, ETSing, etc. We see it, but a cat is not worth money. A dog is not worth money. A laying hen is worth money. Any reasonable chicken owner knows that, especially after spending all of that money to establish a coop. Feed them for 6 months before they start laying. That is a financial investment in their family, in their home. No one would intentionally abandon a chicken in my eyes. They might lose one, and then I might have a nice dinner the next day, but I do not foresee intentional abandonment of chickens coming onto our radar. I'll even take it a step further. You mentioned that it is likely the people who exhibit existing dismay of our ordinances that you feel concerned about, but candidly, if those people are already comfortable breaking laws, do we really feel that they are waiting for the legalization of chickens to get chickens?
I just want to say, as a realtor, I've seen abandoned chickens in Manhattan and Ogden. They leave them at the property. And as a realtor, I've had to get rid of them. So, which is not my job. I have a lot of worries about the chicken, and I'm going to say I agree with Commissioner Landis about the concerned with animal control, people not taking care of chickens. I think there is a very big investment. They do have to be housed. They do have to be protected, and they don't lay eggs as much as people think. They're paying out more than they're getting in reality, and that will make them abandon chickens. Not to mention, we have a very high population of landlords that don't want chickens, and they don't want them in their homes. And there's times when chickens need to come inside and have to be medicated, or I guess when they're younger, they're supposed to be indoors. And this creates a problem of many problems that landlords have, because the destruction of property, and people leave animals in the houses now. So I don't love the idea of the chickens, and I don't love the idea of everybody else has to suffer because there's a few people that want chickens. And I don't know, maybe that's solved with bonds. I don't know how that's solved. But just like the county, I don't think we should make the city the county, and I don't think we should make the county the city.
I can comment. I think over the past years, we've heard the community speak loudly. Is it a few? Is it a lot? I don't know. Some that speak loudly seem like a lot. I think the one concern that I had is, as you mentioned, budget the last time you presented. There's a cost to this. And currently we're following the Columbia Capital Fiscal Sustainability Plan. I don't see that being in the plan. I see infrastructure, I see staff. I forgot what was listed. When I spoke previously with others, it's not off the table for me. I thought of a trial period. I thought of understanding the budget more. I thought of ordinances and I'll say in the trial period, but I also am concerned about the budget. We've had this big conversation, and it's not one of the priorities that are on our plan right now. At least I didn't see it. And so I'm interested in pushing it back until we get to that point. If we knew the cost, do you remember when you presented that, you talked about cost?
I don't remember there being an exact number. I do remember, I'm just pulling my notes here.
Cost of like mitigation or services?
I don't remember all the reasons. You went through a list of, I don't remember them all. I just remember thinking, oh boy, that's another.
I am looking at the screen. I do see an icon that says effects on budgets, but I'm not seeing much listed under it.
Well, yeah, a part of the thought is there an effect on the budget? And that's just one of those, because the first one here, this one here, can we blow it up, like CSI, zoom in? Yes, staff is a concern, is what staff are going to be approaching this. Because as part of the discussion here, in my approach to it, this is an intersection of different areas of building and codes, animal shelter, and JCPD in terms of who's all going to be dealing with this. Because even if there is a foster system of some sort, we would still need city accountability or city oversight on that. One thing is making sure things are adequate, because once we take those animals into our custody legally, even if they're not physically in city custody, they're still legally in city custody. And then what effect would that have? Is that more staff? Is it more building? Do we have to have a building with ventilation because of what chickens do and how fowl are? So, and look at the next slide. I did talk about possible pros. People talked about chickens being a reason to move, provision of eggs, is it healthier, cheaper, agricultural skills. That's what people talked about. That's what some citizens have voiced to me. But then we go to the next one is the negative is if we don't take care of things, are there health and sanitation concerns? When you have them, the feces, accumulation, all that, one of the concerns was property values. So something that was brought up is if I move in next to somebody with clucking hens or an accidental rooster or a hen that takes that place, does that affect it or not? But also does it rise? I don't know. Noise and smell nuisance, proper care provided, and just other possible cons. Those are possible ones based upon discussion that city commission meetings on Facebook, the pros and cons that I saw. So the effect on the budget is just, if we're going to affect it, is there an effect on the budget? And I don't know the exact answer on it. There's no exact number, because one of the things that we look at is what would be the impact? Because if we did something that said, hey, everybody can have chickens, we're not going to regulate besides you can have chickens like Manhattan does, there may not be a huge increase initially because you'll have animal control officers that address the issue. But if you actually take it and do it seriously, do we need, what do we do for fostering, impoundment, and all that? At the same time, if you don't have it, does it affect people moving in, or sales tax or property tax, up or down?
Well, couldn't you inquire of these communities that are around here and get answers to the negative questions? And come back with what's the fiscal impact? Have you had any, all the things, I've had people that live in the county say that there'd be no problem getting rid of any chicken that we took in, and for whatever reason, and they said they're in high demand out in the county. And that person is sitting here today that told me that, and I have to believe what that person said. But can you inquire of the Manhattan?
I will affirm at this time, I was advised by police leadership, they believe if chickens are legalized, they do not expect any impact to the current operations of animal control or their needs.
And since we have shifted out JCPD and animal shelter separately, those would be two different
Yes, and
questions.
I did also speak with the animal shelter director multiple times and let her know that I have no desire to home those chickens at her shelter, because I very much respect what they do, and I think it would be very bold of me to do so. In conversations with my own city staff, they did mention perhaps the opportunity to temporarily place pens or cages there. I'm still not a huge fan of that. I don't want to put that anywhere near the shelter, but if that becomes the single contingent item, I mean, I do receive a salary. I can buy pens and cages. I'm very dedicated to this topic.
But something we can do, like Commissioner Panernet says, take some time
Yeah, I mean, I think if.
and just inquire as to cities, like how much time do you spend doing this? And time is money, but also we look at the cost of it and see what it is. And
Talk to I've never seen any property appraisal mention that somebody has chickens and it goes down value. They look at the square footage, comparable sales.
Well, the incident that Vice Mayor Sam was talking about was that there was a problem with neighbors in the county about chickens, and that's why they did what they did. And I mean, my thought is it's a county, that's where they're supposed to be, but that causes a problem or could cause a problem with the neighbors, which in turn could cause a problem with your property value if you have chickens that are not being controlled properly.
We have a very transient community. People come and go here all the time with Fort Riley, and other communities don't have that as big as an issue as we have, because of our proximity. So more people coming here, coming and going. Oh, that was fun having chickens here, but we got a UCS next week. So I guess we'll just leave them here.
You did acknowledge that in previous conversations, and while I was campaigning, I took that to heart, and I identified 5 different towns who are approximately our size, who also neighbor a military town that do have the legalization of chickens. I can even pull it up here on my campaign email. I contacted them all and asked them the same questions. Are you seeing chicken abandonment? How are you navigating it? And all of them pretty much said, why is that even a concern? We're not seeing it.
It's something we got to think about, Sam, like it or not.
I agree.
That's
That's
just-
why I
this is our
reached out to
community.
them.
And I've been, work with staff on issues with animal abandonment for a long time. And I go out to the shelter and I walk dogs, and I enjoy doing that stuff. But the biggest thing as a city commissioner, don't create a problem where one does not already exist. That's the biggest issue. We do this, it's Pandora's box, and then you gotta deal with the consequences after that. Oh, that was a good idea, we probably shouldn't have done that, as opposed to if you didn't do it at all. That's why.
I would tell the mayor, you raised one question. I don't think you could do a temporary thing and then stop it. I
I
think.
was just thinking about
That's
that.
no way.
That would in fact result in
Am I right?
Ruffles
Yeah,
feathers.
I would recommend against doing a temporary legalization of anything.
Go buy a bucket of chicken, but don't get a chicken.
So how
We
do
can
you
do some
recommend?
more research on this.
Yeah.
This topic was only asked to be put on the agenda Thursday or Friday at the last minute. So we didn't have any more chance to do any additional research on this, but we can do that. And CDC already talked to the police department. The police department doesn't have a problem with chickens. We can put them down in their warehouse.
But I'll inquire some more of other cities and find out some things, and later on this summer, we'll see how it hatches.
And I will note, that is why I did request that you brought back this presentation rather than skim through it, because it did address many of the topics that we discussed today. I would like us to talk to our most local cities, since they do see that military presence. Let's find out those who have legalized chickens. How often are we seeing ordinance infractions? How has it impacted their staffing and their budget? How often are we seeing those citizen concerns? Let's go ahead and approach all of the negatives with all of our local towns who have legalized it. I will note one thing, because this is, I think, the 5th time now this will have been brought to the commission because of how tenacious our citizens are about having this. If we cannot navigate this in the city within a reasonable time, I will be working with our election office to attempt to put this on the ballot later this year so we can put it in the hands of our people and put it at rest. So I believe the deadline for that is August. I may be misinformed in that. So depending on how long this research takes, I just want to publicize the knowledge that at some point I will pivot on that path. So thank you, Mr. Stites.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and move forward to item 4B, C, and D. It's 3 proclamations, so we'll go ahead and cover all 3 at once. And so the first will begin with the declaring May 15, 2026 at Peace Officers Memorial Day, and May 10th, excuse me. May 10th and 16th? Oh, 10th through the 16th, I apologize. May 10th through the 16th as Police Week. So proclamation, Peace Officers Memorial Day and Police Week. Whereas the Congress of the United States, by resolution passed in October 1962, designated May 15th of each year as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which the 15th falls as Police Week. And whereas all Junction City police officers currently serve our community combating crime and assisting the general public on a daily basis. And whereas the safety and well-being of the citizens of this community are in the hands of these dedicated law enforcement personnel, and we acknowledge the importance of their pursuit of justice. Now therefore, I, Terry Butler, Mayor of the City of Junction City, Kansas, do hereby proclaim May 15th, 2026, Peace Officers Memorial Day, and May 10th through the 16th, 2026, Police Week. Further, by Public Law 103-322, 36 USC 175, is directed that flag be flown at half-staff on Police Officers Memorial Day, given under my hand and official this 5th day of May 2026. So next proclamation is City of Junction City, Kansas Fire Department EMS Week 2026 proclamation. Whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas emergency medical services fills healthcare gaps by providing important out-of-hospital care, the City of Junction City, Kansas acknowledges emergency medical services system consists of emergency medical dispatchers, first responders, EMTs, advanced EMT, and paramedics. Therefore, I, Terry Butler, Mayor of Junction City, Kansas, in recognition of this event, do hereby proclaim the week of May 17th through the 23rd, 2026 as Emergency Medical Services Week. The 52nd anniversary of EMS Week, Improving Outcomes Together,
I encourage the community to observe this week in honor of the EMS profession and the essential service it provides. And the third proclamation, City of Junction City, Kansas proclamation, Week of the Young Child, May 8th, 2026. Whereas there are many child care and pre-K care facilities and providers in Junction City, Kansas, each is dedicated to providing high-quality early childhood education for infants, toddlers, preschoolers, and school-age children, ensuring all young learners receive a strong foundation for lifelong success. And whereas the City of Junction City and its citizens proclaim a commitment to excellence in early learning and ensuring children receive the highest quality education and care in a nurturing environment. And whereas the city recognizes early literacy is a key factor in a child's educational success, and the city encourages daycare and child care providers to implement specialized literacy programs which enhance reading skills and foster a lifelong love for learning. And whereas the city encourages citizens to utilize the Dorothy Bramlage Public Library and other literacy sources where children and parents can borrow and utilize books, reinforcing the importance of literacy and making books more accessible to families in the community. And whereas the city encourages daycare and child care providers to proudly serve low-income and military families, ensuring that all children, regardless of economic status, have access to high-quality learning experiences that prepare them for school and life. And whereas the city encourages and hopes for continued thoughtful advocacy and resource allocation in local and state child care advocacy programs, working to improve policies that support early childhood education, educators, and families across Kansas and beyond. And whereas the city prays for groups and resources to support families by promoting breastfeeding education, resources, and advocacy for healthy early childhood development. And whereas the Week of the Young Child is an annual celebration sponsored by the National Association for the Education of Young Children, NAEYC, to recognize the critical role of early childhood education and honor the dedication of early childhood educators. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City of Junction City, Kansas hereby recognizes May 8th, 2026 as the Week of the Young Child and encourages all citizens to support and advocate for high-quality early childhood education and the dedicated professionals who nurture and educate our youngest learners. In witness whereof, we celebrate and commit to strengthening early learning opportunities for all children in our community. Signed this 5th day of May, 2026. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Butler. Before we move on to the next item, I would just like to note we are seeing some feedback from our live stream that some, but not all speakers have been audible, which tells me it's a microphone usage issue tonight. If we can make sure that we speak close and direct to the microphones. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to item 4E, consideration of the Circle A Club request for $10,000 of opioid funds for facility upgrades.
Good evening. I'll point it here just so I don't get in trouble. Good evening, Commission. Circle A, they're down here on 7th Street to the east of here. They're the chairperson's here, right? Or, and so they're going to be talking to you about a request for opioid use, the requested use. I vetted against the municipalities fight addiction funds, and so is a qualified use, so it's just whether or not you want to do it or not.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Charles Osborne. I'm representing the Circle A Club. And on December 28th, 1989, Fred Bramlage donated the property at 119 West 7th Street to the Circle A Club. And that was, when he did that, it was solely for the purpose of recovery from alcohol and drug addiction. And we are a 501c3 organization. Meetings are held there daily, and on weekends twice a day, 365 days a year, with attendees averaging around 15 people per meeting. Thousands of people have recovered through that facility. Rent is charged per meeting. Currently, the county provides funds to us, and it helps us cover our shortfall, kind of income versus expenses. They usually give us around $7,000 a year. These funds only cover annual maintenance costs to operate the building, insurance, utilities, general upkeep. The rear exterior of our building, which the building is just right over here, the back of our building is seen from Heritage Park. And we also are looking at doing some work on our restrooms in the buildings. But we're looking to have all that repaired and painted the request for this, we're looking to see if we could get help through the opioid funds. And thank you for letting me share this with you. And,
Mr. Stites, is this an appropriate use of the funds for repairs to a site like this?
Based on, because it's for the accessibility of the building and for the support of treatment, and given that peer support and peer treatment is an approved use of opioid funds for abuse, so since they do AA and NA are hosted there 7 days a week, and they provide it to at least a dozen people or more per meeting, is my understanding from a meeting that we had. And so you count as $1,000 a year, but we look at it as the accessibility and usability of it, so that way the treatment can occur, because if people can't access the building, they can't utilize the treatment, and if they have to leave somewhere to use the restroom, that'd be something that would take, so something that helps support the treatment, and supporting treatment is an acceptable use under the guidelines I provided.
I move to approve the Circle A Club request for the $10,000 for the purposes enunciated.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries.
thank you very much.
For all.
Thank you.
Item 5, appointment. Consideration of Junction City Housing Authority Board request to appoint Yuri Zupnik to the JCHA Board for a term ending on 12/31/2027.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
I would just like to note real quick, if you have not looked at Yuri's bio, at just 15 years old, he was selected of one of 3 assistants to a land and zoning commissioner. That is awesome. Yuri, if you have not seen, has truly dedicated his livelihood to serving our town and making it a better place, and I just truly want to highlight and commend the efforts that he has demonstrated throughout that time. Thank you so much, Yuri. That is all.
If there's no further discussion, all those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. 5B, consideration of the Junction City Housing Authority Board request to appoint Natalie Waldo to the JCHA Board for a term ending 12/31/2027.
Move to approve the appointment as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to new business. A, consideration of the call center purchase, third addendum.
All right. Madam Mayor, Commission, I'm getting my steps in. But what you have before you is a third addendum for the property, the agreement for the sale of the property at 1031 South Spring Valley Road. This is basically an extension to take us to the end of September, because this is the property of one of 2 properties still being considered for the Veteran Administration project that they are awarding. And so they're in their final stages, is my understanding, which they just popped out, put a public notice in the union recently about having public hearings between this and a site on Rucker. And so we'd already had the due diligence enacted by the proposed buyer, Highlands, and one of the representatives, Mr. Chris Williams, is here. and they put down the earnest deposit money, so we're about $20,000 of where we are on that right now. And so we're just asking to have an approval of the addendum to take us through September, so that way hopefully we can get through the process, and hopefully the VA will award that, so that way we can sell that property to Highlands and they can do the project. So Mr. Williams is here if you have any questions or concerns, or I can answer anything about this extension.
So with the extension, the second, third amendment, there's gonna be an additional 10,000
I don't
per
believe so,
contract.
no. On that one, no.
That's what it says. For
I'd move to-
extensions,
I'd move to, did you say something?
I think he's checking.
It's on page 154. Amendment to section 2.3 purchase price. That's what you're talking about, right? Item A,
Yeah, no, I go through
10,000 earnest money.
these by separate documents, so. Which,
In the original purchase agreement, there's additional earnest monies to be paid with extensions of $10,000.
just so I can get to it right away, which section is that? Since you have pulled that, okay.
Section 2.3, amendment to section 2.3 purchase price. It says addendum to terms. It's toward the water. Right before the signature page.
Good evening. Chris, I believe the original purchase price and the original purchase contract was, we put down $10,000 when we signed the purchase contract. And then we did an extension, which was already, there was already an extension option in the original contract. At that point, we extended, we put down another $10,000. So this is another third extension. And the way we have the third extension written is we already have $20,000 down. We're not, right now, the way it's written, we wouldn't put another $10,000 down, I believe. The way the third, because we've already exercised.
Because that takes us to 3.2D, or if the buyer, Highlands, exercises their due diligence period of up to 60 days, then they put down the additional deposit. So that's where that extension of 60 days of their due diligence, which is unilateral on their part by the agreement, not an agreed to an extension like this addendum is.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'd move to approve the third extension as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor respond by saying aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you very much, appreciate it. All right.
Item B, update on joint city-county community cleanup week.
Mayors, Commissioner Christopher Stragass, Community Development Director. So on the week of, on the cleanup week for Earth Day that was held by not only the city and the county, we have our numbers in for that week. So in grand total of tonnage, we, as the city and county, have collected over 34 tons of trash during that week. Breakdown for that week was 26.49 tons were collected by the city, 7.52 tons were collected by the county, with a grand total of 19 overall dumps, having 8 locations throughout the city and 2 locations throughout the county. Grand total and prizes of price this year was $2,607.04. Compared to last year, numbers were, total tonnage for numbers last year were 39.08 tons compared to this year, which is 34.1. Overall comparison, it went very, very well. We did see a few minor snags, but we fixed them as they went. I want to thank all the citizens that utilized that time to clean up. They did a very great job. Thank you to them for that. And I also want to thank the commissioners here, the county commissioners, and also the county waste management for helping not only the city, but also their county residents in making this happen. We do look forward to trying to accomplish this again later this year, hopefully around the October timeframe. I will be bringing that forth for approval from you guys as well. And if you have any questions, I'm willing to take them at this time.
Sounds well worth the money.
It was very, very well worth it. And no tires this year.
Yes.
I do have a question. It seems like a while ago we had talked about maybe 4 times a year. Is 2 times a year doing the job that it needs to do?
I think as of right now, I think if we do it for 2, so this is our second time actually doing it. I think it's progressively getting better. I think we may need to hold off from doing it 4 times right now, just to see if we can get the momentum going. But as of what I'm seeing right now, the residents are really catching on to it. A lot of, I commend the PIO for getting that information out and word of mouth out. I think eventually we may be able to do that with the will of the commission.
And I'm not saying we need it, I was just curious if we need it, so.
Maybe. I will say, I think it also helped, we coordinated with the police department this year, so the weekend right before we did our area-wide cleanup for the week, that weekend the police department did their Earth Day cleanup, and we had great success with them as well, so.
I will note, Mayor Butler, I think in past discussions surrounding doing it quarterly was with how hot it gets here in the summer and how cold it gets here in the winter. If we did it seasonal, there are, assuming Kansas decides to have all 4 seasons in a routine fashion, there is a slight risk with summer and winter, but we could mitigate that potentially.
I'm grateful.
Yes, I am very grateful, and thank you to the residents once more.
Thank you, sir.
Item C, update on homeless task force.
Evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Thanks for all you did on that job, Chris. My last city, I begged for 3.5 years to do a citywide cleanup, and they never would do it. They would not do it. And I've seen it work in my other cities. So I'm glad we take advantage of it here to help clean up Junction City. It's a great thing. It's good for the people. It's good for the city. Homeless Task Force. So the resolution was approved. Oh, forgot my document. I've been getting a lot of contact from citizens wanting to know what the status is, how they can serve, et cetera. And when you look at the Homeless Task Force, it's been broken out about who appoints who for this committee. Now, the mayor pretty much has a lead on a lot of the appointees, and she has it. I know she's been working it. The city appoints 1 person, and Ronna Nelson has volunteered to do that. Ronna Larson has volunteered to be the city rep. Corey Odell is going to be the police rep. Kent Vosberg is going to be the fire department rep. Most of the other representatives are either coming from the county or the USD, or the mayor has to appoint them. That's the information I have at this time. I know the mayor is working her end already. She's met with me on it. Right now, we're looking at probably starting this up sometime in either July or August, but it's going to take some commission meetings between all these entities to get the proper people appointed to those positions. We're looking at doing it in the 3rd week of every month, because we have to do it, I think, for the first 6 months monthly. Probably on a Wednesday, location and time TBD for right now, until we get everybody appointed and look at their schedules and stuff. So just to let people know, this is in the works, it is moving forward, and we'll give another follow-up here at the next commission meeting.
I do have a question. It's going to be brought up at the joint meeting.
Yes,
May, is that
yes,
May 28th?
yes, yes.
So I just wanted to share that, so
Yes.
everybody was aware of that. So.
18th.
It's on the agenda.
Yes, Monday.
May
Just
18th, I think.
making sure.
Yep, it's on the agenda, Mayor.
So item D, consideration of the Junction City Fire Department request to use the RFP process to purchase an ambulance not to exceed $330,000.
Mayor and Commission, in front of you, yes, is a request to go out for RFP for a competitive sealed bid proposal for a new med unit. It was budgeted for 2026 this year. We've already also used funds in that account already for the two auto pulses that we came, last month or so. Not to exceed 330,000, that's what's left in that account. So we go out to RFP. As you can see, the life cycle of the ambulances, I already explained to you guys, but I can do it again if you would like. But yes, that's replaces a 2012 med unit that has 120,000 miles on it. That one also, note on it, is had a new transmission and engine put in it, so.
When you do the RFP for something like this, how narrow do you draw the requests? I mean, is it gonna be broad enough to have competition, or?
Usually we get about 5 or 6, yes, competitors that come in, yeah.
So it's broad enough that you're not just going for one proposal? Okay.
We do like our setup of how the box configuration is, because that's what we've been doing for the past, whatever years, but what places and stuff, but they have no problem remanufacturing that box of how it is in spec.
And then the price ceiling you're talking about, you're pretty sure you can come in underneath that?
Yes, for a Type 3 a Type 3 is a van chassis. We do have those still with us, and we have Type 1s, which are truck chassis. So this would be a Type 3 because of the price. Well, unless you have a Type 1 around that price. Some of these vendors do have demos, but it had to be spec to what, yes, we would like. So.
What percentage of decrease in transfer calls are you getting now that Stormont is fully up and running at the hospital?
We were what?
Compared to what it was, 4 or 5 years ago.
4 or 5 years ago, we were over 400 calls a year. And now I think as of today, we just did the numbers for the county, we're at 22 transfers for this year.
22?
Discharge, 22.
That's all? That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Well, wasn't there a loss of revenue with that when we cut down doing the transfers?
A little bit, but what Landis brought up too was the overtime on an increase on our side went up dramatically.
Are you gonna be getting rid of an ambulance?
Yes, that 2012 will be put up for auction. And we'll always keep 5. Like I said, the 2 frontline are good within 1 to 6 years, 7 to 10 for the backup, and then the last one for. She's all right. For the backup unit.
I move to approve the ambulance purchase as presented.
The request for proposal process?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Second.
As amended.
It's been,
It's been moved and seconded.
I'm sorry, I got lost, thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor respond by saying aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you.
Just quick, once it's approved, it goes through the process, how long will it take to get the ambulance, you guess?
Yeah, we're looking at
A year, 2 years?
Yeah,
So
a
usually
year
around
is
2012.
the best, but it depends on these chassis. We're getting better, but not great.
Moving on to E, consideration and approval to award bid for the purchase of a tower uninterrupted power supply system to support the IT server room and the backup dispatch center at the municipal building to Economy Electric in the amount of $107,190.
Mayor, Commissioners. So last summer, we had an incident where the air conditioning unit froze up. And we didn't get notified until we started getting notifications that stuff was offline. Turned out that the server room got up to 110 degrees. And for all that equipment that's in there, that's not sustainable. The small size UPSs that we have in there right now, all overheated, all the power shut off. And we found out that that room is wired to 3 different panels in the building. One's in the IT room, one's in the codes department room, one's right outside of the IT room. And so we were playing kind of whack-a-mole to figure out where stuff is and how to get everything back up online. So in discussions, With that, looking at the small UPSs that we have in there currently, they only provide for 6 to 10 minutes of power, just enough basically for the generator to kick on. The problem is the generator is also aged. I think we got that from a wastewater plant project or something when they replaced one at there years ago, and they put it in to run City Hall. And so there's a real concern about everything shutting down super hard, and us not being able to power it back on properly. If it data corruption, that kind of equipment doesn't like that kind of just pull the power plug and be done type of thing. And so we're looking at this project would be taking and rewiring that entire room back to just a single panel. We also moved the backup dispatch station from out at Station 2, Fire Station 2, when they remodeled that building last year. And so we have 911, if there's anything that ever happens at the police department, that is where the dispatchers would go to continue dispatching. And so we want to keep that on a continuous power supply as well. And so this project would put both of those rooms on this tower UPS, give us 1 hour worth of runtime at the minimum to where we could try to get that generator up and running, give time for IT staff to come in, shut stuff down if we need to shut stuff down, do it the right way. And then also give Mike, the electrician, time to get in and see if he can get the generator up and running and get back on a steady power supply. And so when we went out and looked at this, we worked with Mike to kind of look at bids. There was one that Mike got if he just did the work himself from Stannion. That's just, hey, this is all the equipment you would need. You have to go install it. I think that was around $104,000. This $107,000 from Economy Electric includes them actually providing electricians to work alongside Mike, run the lines that are needed, get everything put in, tested, and it's only about $3,000 over what if Mike just did it himself. I talked a little bit with the vice mayor earlier today. That project, Mike would not be able to do it himself. He would need help. So we would still have to hire an additional electrician or a company to come in and help provide some assistance with Mike to make the big runs. So this is the best offer, the best bid that we received for this project, and that's why we recommended moving forward with Economy Electric.
And just a 1-year warranty on the work?
Yeah.
For just the equipment?
Yeah.
And this is just a 1 hour backup?
Yes. Because of all the stuff that's on it, it's only 1 hour. It's going to run the IT room. We put a split unit HVAC system in there as well. That way it's got dual HVAC. So it's got the main city AC unit, but it's also got a split unit. So if the main does freeze up again like it did last summer, it's still got something in there that's pushing and moving that air around so it won't get to 120 again. It's got to provide all that backup dispatch stuff. There's a whole tower of 911 phone system stuff that's in there as well now. So we've added quite a bit of additional electrical pull on that.
Was that in the budget for last year?
Yes, I budgeted that within the IT budget. There were some other projects that I was going to do that I'm foregoing to cover the hole that was, this was a little bit over what I had budgeted for, but I do have the $107,000 in my total budget.
Are we at risk by foregoing those other projects?
No. They were shredders and stuff to get rid of some hard drives and that kind of stuff. So we could always,
Scissors instead?
yeah,
Cool, thank you.
we'll take them to the range and let PD shoot at them.
Could use them as chicken bedding, sorry. I'll stop. Thank you, sir. I make a motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor respond by saying aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
F, F, consideration of the Parks and Recreation request to purchase a Raymo electric slope mower from Key Equipment in the amount of $50,925.59.
Mayor and Commissioners, currently we don't have a mower capable of mowing our various ponds and bridge sides and stuff at the golf course and other city properties. This mower is able to safely mow these areas to allow more access for fishing and other recreation activities around our ponds and city properties. So this piece of equipment is a specialized piece of equipment that mowing companies generally do not have. It is designed to safely mow steep slopes with no risk to the operator. It is a remote-controlled mower and requires an operator, so it will not replace a city staff member. It is able to be driven up ramps and loaded on the back of a truck, so no extra trailer is needed for it. We already have the ramps. So for this piece of equipment, we use the Sourcewell Government Purchasing Co-op per Section 3.11 of the fiscal policy, and Key Equipment in the amount of $50,925.59. And I think I have some pictures, Andrew, have some just some examples of slopes that we'll use to mow.
I've got
This mower to mow with.
a couple of questions, Mr. Gray. Refresh my memory, I believe the previous commission leadership discussed this last year as well, but they did not approve it, is that
Yeah,
correct?
it's in the budget for this year. Yes, it's
Okay.
budgeted in the 2026 budget.
It
We
was, so it was
budgeted
approved to be
55.
budgeted
Yes.
for, and now it's being brought for purchase.
Correct.
Excellent. Because when I saw this, I was like, this sounds familiar.
Yep, it was we budgeted 55, and it actually came in under that, so.
Understood. And remind me as well, have we had any accidents or incidents?
Yes, on May 7th, 2022, we had a mower go off a slope in Price's Ravine, and it resulted in loss of a $69,000 mower. But more importantly, a staff member got hurt, and they were out for 2 months, and then they were on light duty. I don't want to ever have to deal with that again and put anybody on a slope. So this completely negates that risk, gets rid of it. So
That's horrifying.
but yeah, we had to go. I didn't know. We had to go visit them at the Topeka. So at Stormont Vale, it was scary.
Do we have a staff member in Public Works or Rec that can operate this?
They provide training for the mower when they bring it, and they brought it out last year, and we demoed it at Riverwalk Landing, and it mowed that pond, no
Will it be under
problem.
Public Works or your department?
It'll be ours.
Okay.
I mean, they can use it. I mean, they're gonna train everybody. Yeah, we can have multiple operators.
So to approve the mower purchase as presented?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Gray.
Thank you. G, consideration of the request to purchase an Aries Voyager sewer camera system from Elliott Equipment Company not to exceed $199,743.
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, currently we have a camera, subsite sewer camera, and it is not operable right now. It's 7 years old. To repair it would cost more than to buy a new one. Currently, we went down to the Rural Water Show in Wichita. They looked at all various cameras, and they decided that this Aries camera is the best camera to fit our needs. We've gone through the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Program, again, for our Section 3.11 fiscal policy, so with that we could do that. So we have this camera, and the cost is $199,743. The Elliott Equipment Company is the one supplying it, and they're going to give us $38,000 discount as far as being able to reset this camera back up in our sewer camera truck that we have. And in send the city's budget, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Could you explain, I know the process, but this other source that you use, they bid out for the equipment, and it is authorized by law that we could use that as a source for different equipment.
Correct. They go out, and what they do is go out, and Sourcewell goes out. They've got various vendors that they have suppliers, and those guys give them the best possible price that we can get, and Elliott was the best possible price.
And that, but we've used that, other cities use it because it's a competitive bid that's out there, a process that's put together for cities and counties.
Correct.
So it's already been bid. These different requests that cities and counties have. So it comes within the budget requirements of the offering for the bid.
I'm just curious how long this thing is. Like, how often do you use this?
Well, anytime there's a sewer backup or there's any kind of plate. We run the camera through there, take a look at it. In addition to this, the reason it's up a little bit higher, I did buy a different type of body to be able to run through the sanitary, through the stormwater system as well, because this camera's basically just for sewer lines. It's a smaller frame, and I can put this camera, take it off of there, put it on a bigger frame, and I can run it through the stormwater system as well, so I'll be able to check that as well.
But how often do we use it?
Anytime there's a sewer
No,
backup.
But is there a number of times per year? I mean, 10?
Not right off the top of my head, I mean, right now, that we do, the sewer clean that we do currently, it's reduced the number of sewer backups that we have. But
Is there any sharing of equipment with other cities our size like this?
no, we haven't. We basically need it for what we need to do. I mean, you can't wait around. You have a sewer backup, you can't wait around and figure out what's going on. You need to find out what's causing the issue and be able to take care of the issue.
Okay.
I had a situation where I had it in my last city, and it was like $250,000. We lent it out to this township next to us, and they broke it. So, that kind of stuff, yeah. The other thing you don't use it in is you don't use it in the water lines. It's only stormwater and sewer. You don't use it in the water lines.
Too much pressure.
No,
No,
sanitation.
that's sanitation,
Because they,
yeah.
cross-contamination. So it is only for sewer and stormwater, and it's very important because of the stormwater breaks, so especially what we got going on in the southwest plant with Smithfield. We just cambered that whole line, we had to contract it out, because of all the problems we're having at the wastewater treatment plant because of Smithfield.
How much did that contract cost us, do you know? For the Smithfield circumstance, to contract that camera work approximately?
We haven't got that bill yet. I know that for us to, right now, we are doing the northwest part of town, and that each one is basically around 450,000 each section we do, divided 4 times. So you're talking over $1 million.
And that financial cost would be reduced by owning this camera?
No, now, you're talking a very special type of deal there. You would have to be able to have guys that are qualified to be able to read the pipes, number one. Number two, you have to have constantly, these guys would constantly be on this thing, and I don't have the manpower to do that.
So when we need this camera, we need it immediately, but we don't know how often we will need it.
Not right off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you how many sewer backups we've gone through and stormwater issues that we've gone through.
It's more common than you think.
Do we keep records about that?
Yeah, I do have that. I can look that up.
Then it's a normal piece of equipment that you need to have in your department.
Correct.
Move to approve the sewer camera purchase as presented.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor respond by saying aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. H, consideration of the request to award bid for the 2026 street maintenance project to Schilling Construction Company Incorporated in the amount of $792,789, affecting Eisenhower, Allen Street, Haven Drive, 12th Street, Coronado, Webster, Philly, East 4th, East 5th, East 6th, East 7th, and Reynolds.
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, City has budgeted $2 million for street maintenance improvements for the 2026 street budget. Cal Valley developed the preliminary plans, construction estimates, and quantities of material for the bidding of this project. We had a bid opening on April 29th. We had 3 qualified bidders. They were Schilling Construction Company with $792,789 bid. Buyer Construction was $884,045.35, and APAC was $944,152.90. The engineer's estimate for this project was $895,304. Schilling's bid was $102,515 under the engineer's estimate. And again, Andrew, can you pull up the map? And you can see those would be the streets. These streets here basically would be the typical mill and overlay, concrete work on curb, that type of thing. Streets on this side, we're talking about doing a leveling course and then being able to put a 2-inch overlay on top of that. This street down here on East Street, we are going to do that in cooperation with the county. Once we do that, and the county will go ahead and pay their share of it. They are getting some monies from Wildcat because using that as a haul road as part of the I-70 project. We've talked about it. We want to have them be able to take care of that road, pay for that first, and once we do that, we are in negotiation of being able to annex that road back into the city, since it's been
Why
up,
do we wanna do that?
because that road is in the county, and
Are you
And what
referring to
they use-
East,
what-
East Street?
East Street,
Okay.
East Street.
Starbucks and,
Right.
the old
Yes.
plumbing shop.
Where it goes.
Basically how they do it is just put coal mix over the top of the road. You see what that road is like currently. It's got a bunch of ruts and stuff in it. We want to fix it up to city par standard. Once I do that, then we're talking about giving them back landfill road since it's a gravel road. And they have more equipment to be able to do that and better than we do.
So we're doing a trade essentially.
Right. Once this thing gets done and
And
approved.
East Street is the street that we're gonna take through to Grant Avenue at some
No,
point?
no.
There's been
Not my-
Just a Sixth Street.
speculative conversation. There is no plan at this time.
It's just to make it a good road.
That would bypass all of downtown if you did that.
We've got much bigger fish to fry before we start doing anything new like that. Maybe someday.
Is this a good trade? That's my question.
Yes, it would be a good trade.
Okay, have you figured it out? You've got it down to that eyelash?
Yes, it would be a good trade. We wouldn't have to mess with that road and worry about all that other stuff.
It's the worst road close to the city.
Yeah.
At East Street.
Yes, and it's one that we should take care of and have a great road back to any of the eateries on Chestnut and that type of thing, and get us back out to East Sixth Street.
And the county is assumably happy to make this trade.
We are in talks with them, discussion, and they seem to be, so I have a feeling that they will do that.
How much of Philly Street are we gonna do?
We are going to do Philly Street all the way from the exit turn off on East Sixth, all the way down, take care of East Fifth, East Fourth, that whole area through there, and then all the way back up to 11th Street, I believe, on that map.
And what about Webster? How much are we doing on Webster?
Webster, we're doing from Sixth Street to 7th Street. We are gonna mill that and then put that on there for temporary purposes right now, temporary repair, because it needs some drainage, storm drain issues we need to take care of.
We've talked about that a lot, and we're doing some other things. Of course, I objected to one of the sewers. Why aren't we doing the sewer there that needs to be done and get this fixed completely?
Because of the cost that it takes to do that.
What's that cost?
Not right off the top of my head, I don't know the exact cost, but I'm sure it's over in the $1 million range, just to do the storm sewer system.
We spent about $500,000 to do the storm sewer across Helen Park, correct? 400,000? That's in the plan that was recently approved.
That I can tell you right off the top of my head.
Well, it was to the annexed property.
Oh, that was a sanitary sewer line. That's a different.
Okay, so we're talking about storm sewer.
Yeah, we're talking about storm sewer, we're not talking about sanitary.
Get rid of the water.
Yeah, that's a whole
So we're
different,
into-
thing. You're talking a bunch of volume of water that's going through there and being able to take care of that volume, because we gotta take it from Webster Street back out to A Street to Jackson. That's where you're gonna have to tie in that big box.
We've been trying to apply for grants to do that, but we can't get anyone to buy it on that, so we wanna do concrete from Sixth and Webster all the way to Eighth Street with storm sewer going through there as well. Cause it doesn't drain, water just sits there all the time, so we've been trying to get some help, but we haven't been successful to do that.
Well, what about, where are you, Eisenhower? What part of that?
We're doing it from Sixth Street to 11th Street, right there in front of the early childhood center, getting that all fixed up and dressed up for them.
And then when all is it work gonna be started?
That we have to, once you approve it, then we'll set a pre-construction date to be able to meet them and figure out when the notice to proceed will be.
We're gonna get the Eisenhower done as a priority because.
That'd be one of the first things that we do.
With that, yeah, I was thinking
School
about
year starts.
Yeah.
the new early childhood center.
Yes.
Yes.
Questions? Move to approve the 2026 street maintenance project as presented.
Second.
I have one more question. Are we gonna we have 2 million budgeted. so that we got another 1.3 to do it, so that all
Yeah.
been done.
We do, so we can use that on other projects that we have. So, you know, the Westwood Boulevard one's gonna be very expensive. By the time we get done with the stormwater done, the concrete work on there, you're talking a lot more than we projected when we first talked about it.
That's full reconstruction,
Correct.
not just mill and overlay. It's gonna be really expensive.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor
Thank you.
Commissioners.
Consideration of HDR work change directive number 121 for the elevator disconnect and labor for the water treatment plant improvements phase 2 project in the amount of $59,406.
Mayor and Commissioners, we've talked about this before, and much of this was before my time. But the elevator, so this is specifically for the disconnect, and the other items, the cost escalations for the elevator project. So, or for the water treatment project. The elevator flooded with the ice storm. What was that? 20
Years ago?
Yeah. At the very beginning of the project. And so the can, so to speak, was kicked down the road. And so that's the source of the price escalations. In this final piece, we had the state inspector in, and he said that we needed one more item, and that was this electrical disconnect. And so that total price is $59,406 to get the freight elevator at the water treatment plant operational.
This is one of the very last things to be completed at the plant, which is supposed to be done by August 2026.
Basically moving the equipment itself up from the basement. So if we have this misfortune again, the equipment isn't ruined. And the freight elevator is used obviously to move chemicals and parts inside the plant. It's an important item.
What is the will of the commission?
Move to approve the request for the change order for $59,406, which is an increase over the existing contract, as I understand it.
Correct.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. I'm sorry, J.
Sorry.
Consideration of HDR CPR 50 for flow diversion pipe rerouting for the wastewater treatment plant phase 2 project in the amount of $50,070.
So this one is, in my opinion, pretty simple. We have a set of plans that the bidders bid on, and based on that information, they give us a price. The plans, the contract documents were incorrect. The piping is in a different location, and so this change pricing is for the different layout and pipe fittings that it takes to route per current conditions. And that drawing is on page 211, if you want to.
I believe it's the one where they were actually doing the work and the plans, the original plans did not match what they found underground, so they have to redesign it and redo it.
Conditions don't match the drawings.
Yeah. Same stuff that happens with Ray when he's digging up water lines, sewer lines. It doesn't match our maps, it's something different, we just have to adjust.
It says it's a decrease.
Well, it's a decrease in the allowance that we have. So there's
Certain amount of money set aside, this 50,000 comes from it.
contingency, right? And so it's a decrease in the contingency fund.
So it costs more than expected,
Correct.
thus decreasing the fund.
Correct.
Is there a motion?
So go ahead. Yeah. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor respond by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Number Number 7, unfinished business. A, consideration of the 3-month extension on the dangerous and unsafe structure located at 408 West 7th Street.
Mayor's Commissioner, Christopher Strangast, Community Development Director. Today I'm bringing forth a 3-month extension for dangerous and unsafe structure located at 408 West 7th Street. In your packet, your first picture will show you an aerial view of said property. So I'll cut right to the trace. In November 4th of 2025, the City Commission approved a 180-day extension for the exterior and interior work to be completed, making the structure habitable, removing it from the dangerous unsafe structure. At this time, the front porch has been enclosed, the rear addition has been completed, and the roof has been completed, or dried in, I'm sorry, excuse me. Since that time, the only additional progress that has been made is the wrapping of the remainder of the house. No inspections have been requested or completed. The permit for the foundation of this structure was issued in November 4th of 2022. So there was many extensions for this property. Since that time, multiple extensions have been granted by the commission with minimal progress made by for the project. The most recent extension was approved again November 4th of 2025, allowing 180 days. However, the only advancements during that period of time is the addition to was the further wrapping of the house. He did complete the foundation, which was the major reason for the extension the last time. The reason that he needed the extension to complete the foundation is because he was also completing the addition. To complete the addition, he needed it. So he did complete that work. After that work was completed, the only, as you can see now, is just the wrapping of the house, and that's how it's been sitting. So at this time, the staff is recommending a 3-month extension, excuse me, 3-month extension to complete the exterior and interior work to have the house removed from the dangerous and unsafe structure. I'm here to take any questions at this time.
This is one of Mr. Taylor's properties.
Negative. This is Mr. Booker's property.
I'm just curious, why hasn't it moved forward from there? What
I-
are the extensions?
To be honest with you, we have had no communication with Mr. Booker since the last meeting. So I could not give you a reason why, Commissioner.
Is he aware that we're discussing this tonight?
He is very aware. So every time we come up or bring anything to you about dangerous unsafe structures, the landowners are made aware in well advanced notice.
So your demolition fund could be used to raise this building?
That is correct, yes.
There you go.
With the commission of the will. If the commission willed it and said, hey, we want to take this over instead of tearing it down, you are more than welcome to use that GL to finish the rehabilitation of that property.
Wow.
Or raise it.
When you say raise it,
Mhm.
what action is that implying? Like finishing it off?
Correct.
Bulldoze it.
Yeah, like flat,
Take it down.
bye-bye.
Yep. It would be
Okay.
completely gone.
Just making sure.
So has the project been abandoned? How long has it been sitting like this with RAP?
I will say months,
How many?
at least months. I can't, roughly, I couldn't tell
So
you.
it's not years?
No, it's not years.
been-
It was said at the last commission meeting in November of '25 that it would be the last extension, but due to the fact that he did complete the foundational work, which was the main reason why he asked for that extension, I am asking for recommending a 3-month extension because he did meet those requirements to have him finish the rest of the work.
We said do XYZ, he did XYZ.
He did XYZ. Now we just need him to finish the project and get it back either into livable standings.
I second.
It's been, what, do I have to wait?
I think we still have majority.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you. B, discussion of the dangerous and unsafe structure located at 432 West 12th Street.
Mayors and commissioners, again, bringing forth to you dangerous unsafe structure located at 432 West 14th Street. The commission on April 7th of 2025 granted a 90-day extension for the contractors, to the contractor to repair their work under structure accordance of Chapter 435, Article 3 of the City Code Ordinance, and also Section 105 of the adopted 2012 IMPC Code. Mr. Carl Taylor requested an on-site meeting with the city staff as of March 19, 2025 for improvements and ongoing inspections that have been completed. On April 15th, the City Commission granted a 6-month extension through October 13th of 2025. On October 21st of 2025, the Commission did grant that extension, for the completion of plumbing, framing, rough-in inspections to be completed and approved on August 8th of 2025. The electrical rough-in inspections were completed and approved on September 5th of 2025. As of April 28th, 2026, the final inspections were completed and passed. A final CO was issued for that resident or for that property. City staff is requesting that the structure be removed from the dangerous and unsafe structure list, and I'm here to answer any questions at this time.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
I would just like to make commentary, how amazing it is to see something have the opportunity to have this label removed and bring great success. And we've obviously became more and more familiar with Mr. Taylor's efforts in this city, and I commend him for that.
I would also like to state that this is why the program is the way it is. That for you commissioners to see this, the resident should be going in, once it is on there, completing the work within a timely manner and getting it back on the market or utilized for the residents of this community within a timely manner. Not 2-3 years down the road and still not getting anything done. I understand that you guys don't like tearing down properties, but at some point in our community, we have to realize that a loss of a property and making it vacant and usable again is more important than letting it sit and look dilapidated. So Mr. Taylor is the prime example of why this program should be ran and how it should be ran.
He is, and I wonder if somewhere along the line, there's a cost, extending it,
Right.
is a cost to the city. I wonder what that cost is. And, you know, I know a lot of times you say, okay, you can get by, then people just know they can get by. I don't know where I go with that conversation, except there is a cost.
There is a cost. Normally with construction costs, I may be lowballing this figure, but I know annually, every year it's at least a 10% increase, if not higher. I mean, I know recently within the last couple of years that number's probably doubled or tripled due to tariffs and things of that nature. So
I'm thinking of cost with staff, time.
oh, I mean, it'd
be interesting to see what that
overwhelming.
is. I'd be curious to know what those numbers are, because each extension is costing money. So, okay, anyway, I've lost track of where we are. I'm sorry.
We have a motion and a second. Did we yay? Did we yay, nay? We need to yay, nay. There we go.
It's moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
C, consideration of the personnel policies as presented and updated in 2026.
Madam Mayor, Commission, this comes on before you again on the personnel policies. You have the policy before you. I did various breakdowns. You have the 2009 Blue Book as well as the 2012 additions that were done for pay time off policy, as well as residence requirement when that change was done, as well as some comparisons of verbatim from one to the other. So all I'm going to add at this point, before you have any questions, is I was in a meeting on grant policies with Bryce Openmeyer after I submitted this for the agenda. And we started talking with people from the state, and they said there are two things that you need in your personnel policies that we currently don't have in the Blue Book. One is a conflict of interest policy that matches what the feds are looking for. The other is a whistleblower retaliation policy, which we currently don't have that's adequate. I went back and looked at it after we had that meeting in the current Blue Book. So right now with us going after all these various grants, funds, especially federal, or if it's KDOT with federal money, that can actually hurt our ability to obtain those monies, maintain those monies, or in the future win those monies. So last time when Vice Mayor Yaskowitz asked me, is it urgent? I was like, I would prefer to get there. That's changed because there's new information when we met with people from the state that deal with grants. So I just wanted you to be aware of that, and I'm open for any questions or for your discussion.
So are you saying that this new information has increased that urgency?
Very much so.
Understood, thank you, sir.
I asked the city manager to identify where our current employees live, and we have 25% of them that live in other cities outside our county, and outside, not including Fort Riley. And I think, I have no problem grandfathering in people, but I think we should try, this is a lot of economic development. If you have this many jobs that somebody wanted to bring to the community, we'd be very excited about the jobs, because it would help economic development. But all these salaried people that have no reason to live outside Geary County or Fort Riley, I think I would like to see that turn around in another direction. And I don't like the residency policy as drafted, and I would like to see that if there's any exception that people do not live in Geary County or Riley County, or Fort Riley, I'm sorry, that the city commission would have to approve any waivers for the necessity of, like Commissioner Landis has talked about, if there's another spouse that has a job in another location, that would be a reasonable exception. But all of these jobs that you can see, they're not named, the people are not named, it just shows where they live. And there's quite a few
Commissioner,
people.
can you,
Okay, I'm sorry.
thank you so much.
Thank you. A lot of the people live far away from here, and I'm just not excited about that.
There's a point I mentioned previously on this topic that I do just hope to re-highlight. I don't remember my exact numbers last time, but I believe a third, if not half of this list, if it is the same list from last time, is police, fire, EMS. For many reasons, I think we should not inhibit anyone in those departments or categories from living where they desire. I'm sure that for privacy or personal reasons, many first responders should probably not live in the town that they are serving at times. So depending on how this conversation goes forth, I do hope that we exclude anyone in those departments from that restriction.
You mean you want them to be able to live in wherever they want?
If a police officer or firefighter or EMS, anyone within that realm wishes to live anywhere they want, I am happy to allow them to do so. I think that, especially in that position, their day-to-day life could be impacted by living close to the people they serve in a negative means.
I believe this is the third time that Mr. Stites has brought this forward. I'm hearing that it's urgent. I do believe it's years and years old. I forgot the exact time. I feel as if we can come to some kind of decision in the best interest of our community, knowing that we can make changes in the future. Is that, I mean,
And we can always come back to amendment. The big thing right now is to get caught up after about 17 years. Regarding the residency, I did look into some other communities in Kansas. This is not a full 565 incorporated city survey, but Lawrence, Kansas has no residency policy. Wichita does require all people to live in their city, but there's a city of 300-some thousand. Garden City has no residence requirement, except they have a callback period of 30 miles for law enforcement, firefighters, utility, and department heads. City of Derby has only those who are subject to recall have to live within 30 minutes. Topeka, you have to be a bona fide resident of the state of Kansas, unless you're a department head or a municipal judge. Those with response times are subject to departmental policies. Lenexa, department heads have to reside within the city. Police and fire response times or mileage they have to fall within. No other employee has residency requirements. The unified government of Wyandotte County recently, in this last couple months, removed the residency requirement. Manhattan, the only thing I found was firefighters. And I think we talked about it before because they have students.
They have students, correct.
And additionally, correct me if I'm wrong, Chief, I think the only standard we hold them to at this time is a response time. Is that correct? As long as they're able to show up within a certain amount of time.
That is correct, yes. And like Mr. Stites is saying, we're not losing the people to Dodge or anything there. We're losing them to Salina. Salina does not have a residency. Topeka does not have a residency. Fort Riley does not. Fort Riley has people that live in Oklahoma. Okay, it's a matter of, we do have, if there's tardiness, I understand your position. If there's tardiness or whatnot of them not showing up, then they're reprimanded. But there's never been a tardiness on responding.
And I will just mention real quick, I know your biggest piece about this residency is their investment. I would argue that anyone within that realm of work is already invested in our citizens specifically. That's all.
There are 66 employees that don't live in Geary County or Fort Riley.
Yes.
If the EDC brought forward someone that could live elsewhere with 66 jobs, we'd be really falling over ourselves to get them here. I'm talking about the future, not the people that are living outside of Geary County right now or Fort Riley. I'm talking about those that are hired in the future, that I think we should have more standards rather than just a automatic waiver for someone wants to live somewhere. I think we should have higher requirements for residency.
I don't think you can include Fort Riley because it's a gated community.
I can.
You keep mentioning FortRiley, but they can't live on Fort Riley if they're not a soldier. The
Well,
waterfall
like
doesn't allow that.
Spouses and
Yeah,
such.
but the waterfall doesn't allow civilians to live there.
I think they should be allowed, if they live on Fort Riley, to be employed here. I'm including that. I'm not excluding them, I'm including them.
Okay, I thought you were excluding it. That's
No,
what-
no, I want to.
So what is the response time we currently have? Is that an hour?
What's proposed is 60 minutes for fire EMS. And part of it's taking into consideration that they work 24-hour shifts. And then for police, the chiefs asked for a 30-minute response time, and I believe it's either 30 or 60, I think it's 30 minutes, maybe 60 for the public works because of water, sewer, et cetera, maintenance there.
Mr. Steins, you have really gone out of your way, bringing this forward over and over, sending emails way in advance, sending comparison charts, sending old things, sending new things, asking us to connect with you prior to this evening. I'm curious if we're ready to make a decision for this evening.
I can see both sides of this really clearly. I mean, obviously, we'd love to have all of the employees of the city living in the city or even in the county. That just makes sense, that they're going to live here, pay taxes here, buy their goods here. I completely see that. On the other side, I know that that's really hard, and we do have problems with keeping firefighters and police officers. And we've struggled with that deeply, with just keeping them from going other places, getting paid more, having different options. So I understand what you're saying. I really do. I don't know what the answer is to that. And maybe it can be looked at further. Definitely some kind of maybe waiver in the future. I just don't know that it's right now. I just don't know that we're in the position right now. I think we have some growing to do first before we can require that.
Are there any other pain points within this personnel policy, or holistically, is this residency issue the only portion that the commission finds concerning at this time?
That's my concern.
Any other fellow commissioners have any concerns with the policy as otherwise presented?
I don't want a residency requirement. I mean, I just think you get the best people you can, encourage people to live here. If they want to pay, silly numbers for gas every day, that's on them. They should know better, we need to focus on making our community as great as it can be, to make people want to live here. So that's the most important thing. And I think we're getting there. And I think we can get there in time. Our community is just so vastly improved the last 15 years. It's really amazing. But we still have ways to go. And so I don't want to have any residency requirement in there at all.
I will note, I went through and recounted approximately 2/3 of this list is first responders. So, yeah, I understand this is 25% of our staff, but it's 1/3 of that 25%, so 8% of our staff at this point would be the truly impacted amount. I make a
the city
motion
members.
to approve as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
I think the city manager has done a great job of trying to encourage people to live here, and I think he holds that waiver pretty close to try to make them do that. So I'm confident in his decision-making ability.
If there's no further discussion, all those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
Motion carries.
Mr. Stites, I will ask that you anticipate bringing this residency portion back to us when you are ready to, so we can finish that discussion and close that chapter. But we will accept it as is in the current state.
All right, and I just want to point out, I got cut off. Abilene doesn't have a residency requirement aside from callback for similar situated emergency responders. Fort Riley doesn't, and K-State doesn't. So when we're looking at public employers in about 30-mile radius, that's what we're looking at. So just a thought in the future.
Thank you to everybody who spent hours and hours and maybe months and months on, maybe years on this document. I'm very, very grateful. That was a huge job. Thank you. Moving on, executive session, executive session 8, Chamber of Commerce Master Agreement discussion.
How much time you need?
Mr. Zimmerman, I talked about, we'd recommend 10 minutes, because the idea is just kind of give a brief on it, to steal a word from City Manager Zimmerman.
I move the city commission recess for an executive session to include the city manager and the city attorney for 10 minutes to resume at 8:46 p.m. to discuss matters regarding contract known as master agreement for Junction City Area Chamber of Commerce. The justification for the executive session is for consultation with the city attorney and is deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship and is provided by KSA 75-43119. B2, the open meeting will resume at 8:46 p.m.
Is there a motion?
That's the motion.
So I
Excuse me,
second.
Is there a second? And is there any further discussion? I do have discussion. I think finance director may have been left out when you read that. If I'm correct, can we make an, when I heard you read that, I didn't hear finance director in there.
I think that's for the next,
Oh, is that for the?
isn't it?
No, it's for this one, and I didn't.
I can talk without him in this one. The next one won't be it. He should be it.
Understood.
So all those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. 8:46.
I asked you to put the session where no decisions were made, no actions were taken. I need a second.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to,
All in favor of the motion, say
I'm sorry.
say all in favor of the motion.
All in favor of the motion, please call by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
How much time do we need? 10 minutes?
I would like 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes, that'll do it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I move that city commission recess for an executive session to include city manager and city attorney for 10 minutes to resume at 9:47, or probably 9:57 PM.
8:57.
Thank you. Decimal point. 8:57 PM, to discuss matters regarding the contract on this master agreement between the city of Houston and the Congress. Justification for the executive session is for consultation with the city attorney, privileged by the attorney-client relationship, and is provided by KSA 754319B2. The open meeting is set to resume at 8:57 PM.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Next item, property acquisition discussion.
How much time do we need?
10 minutes.
Sure about that?
Let me do the talking, 10 minutes.
I move that the city commission recess to executive session with the city manager, finance director, public works director, parks and rec director, and the city attorney for 10 minutes to resume at 9:08. To discuss matters regarding potential acquisition of real property for the utilization of the Department of Public Works. The justification for the executive session is for preliminary discussion of the acquisition of real property and is provided by KSA 75-4319B6. The open meeting is to resume in this room at 9:08 p.m.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries.
Sarah, you ready? Move to return from executive session, or no decision to be made and no action to be taken.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is public comment. Gary Olds, please come forward, state your name and address, and limit your comments to 5 minutes, please.
Gary Olds, 3308 Frontier Circle, Manhattan. I'm here to address an age-old issue that I know the answer already to, but I think we should be creative and try to figure some things out. If you're like me, you receive these in the mail periodically, certified letters, along with a regular letter. Now, I'm not positive, but I think this is also sent to the tenant. Is that correct, Chris?
That's correct.
Yep. There's got to be a way to cut the cost. Postage is increasing. Mail fewer of these. Find a way. There's a gentleman right there that might introduce legislation to help us out, so we don't have to send these certified letters. If people are willing to give their email address, and I'm willing, you can email me, and then I'll get it taken care of. I went on vacation for 8 days. I emailed Sarah ahead of time and said, I'm going on vacation. If you send me one of these letters, I won't know it. I wasn't aware that the tenant actually gets it, because I've talked to tenants that say, no, I didn't get it. Other tenants say, yeah, I got it. But nonetheless, I was blessed with Sarah's cooperation, and she emailed me and let me know, hey, you got a certified letter coming. Sure enough, it showed up, but after I got off the phone, or it was an email that she told me, I emailed the tenant, or I called the tenant, or texted the tenant, and he contacted me the next day and said, yeah, I've been at NCT for 35 days. Duh, he didn't make arrangements to mow it either. The very next day it got mowed. I'm just asking you to consider efficiencies as you go through the budget process. Each one of these departments can you can ask the question, how can we be more efficient with the taxpayers' dollars, including the sales taxpayers' dollars? And that's the key to it. I know it's a hard job. I want to say thank you one more time. I think you guys are doing the best you can, which quite honestly is awful darn good.
Thank you, Mr. Olds.
And as Sean would say in conclusion, with regards to the chickens, what a clucking mess.
Mr. Olds, I will notate one thing. During recent abatement conversations, I did ask why we're spending all this money, and it was affirmed that it is because of current statutes.
Yeah,
so if there is upcoming legislation, we are eager to hear about it. Thank you, sir.
On that same note, I'm thinking that maybe cities have legislative agendas, and we could talk about this later, but maybe this is a legislative agenda. I think cities go forward to Topeka. Anyway, we'll move on to the next public comment, and thank you very much. So Desiree Petra, please limit your comments to 5 minutes and state your name and address.
I'll try. It's been a while since I've been here. The reason I'm here, I couldn't be here the last week. Oops, I don't think that, there we go. I think it's working. Okay. Anyway, and I will say that I have had comments from friends that watching TV and on social media, and the sound still isn't coming through. So just so you're aware, it's been going on for quite some time. But the reason I'm here, at the last EDC meeting, there was an item on the agenda. It was called AI Opportunity Assessment. And Mickey really didn't know what it was about. I think you were there, Terry, so you heard that conversation. Kelly, you were absent that day. But anyway, when it came time for public comments, I mentioned she didn't know what it was about. It was some sort of a contest that she had won at some event. And the board recommended that she, maybe look into it and see what it was. Well, when public comment session came up, I expressed my concern that this involved data centers. And that's why I'm asking, you know, maybe you join with the county on putting a moratorium on this for the time being. They can be taken down, it's no big deal, but I hate to see the EDC get into something like this secretly, because nothing is talked about as far as what they're really looking at. They're just given code names, and I think the public needs to know what, you know, if a data center is looked into, because we're gonna have a controversy again with something like this. I'm helping a lot of other people stand up for this across the state, and we're trying to join together to try and put a stop to this until we can understand the consequences of it, you know. So anyway, that's why I'm asking you to join in with the county maybe, you know.
If I may affirm, when this was addressed during the previous city commissioner meeting, during commissioner comment,
Yes, I
we
heard.
did request the attending council make contact with this county's legal
Okay.
counsel.
I did not hear that.
Yes, so we did request that our legal counsel talk to their legal counsel.
Good.
To understand and play a role in that conversation, so that way we can be aligned moving forward. So I can affirm that that is actively the expectation.
Okay, they did not indicate that at the county meeting yesterday, so that's why I was here. And I could have stayed home, gone to bed. So anyway, and the other thing, chickens aren't gonna be a problem in town. You know, if you limit them, you know, if a chicken gets out, if a dog gets it, whatever, it's not a big, it's not, sure, they can be pets for people and pets for kids and things like that. But it's a good thing for kids to have a chore, maybe to do something in their backyards or something. You know, a few chickens isn't gonna hurt anyone. And there is a big market out there. Those chickens, you can find anybody to take them. They even have the little marketplace events. You can get rid of them in nothing flat. So, anyway.
Careful before you ruffle some feathers, Desiree.
Well, I've got some bedding at home.
Thank you. And Martine Cherie Hilaire. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes and state your name and address.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. This is and Commissioners, Martin Cherry Hilaire, 1704 Lydia Lane. First of all, I want to say thank you to the city manager for allowing us to do our very first fundraiser for Harmony Fest. Unfortunately, due to the weather, that didn't go so well, but all hope is not lost. I wanted to come here and see if anyone from either the commission or city employees would like to join us on a road trip to represent Junction City during a summit in Washington, D.C., where we're going. First Thousand Members Club is partnering with Bread for the World. I'm sorry, I lost my voice, but we are partnering with Bread for the World to go to an anti-hunger summit against food insecurity, to attend the anti-hunger summit, and the day after the summit to go to talk to lawmakers about the Farm Bill, which is we're anticipating cut to vital social service assistance to those low to moderate income families, as per data from Kansas Appleseed and Feeding America's Map the Meal. About 15% of our population struggle with knowing where the next meal is coming from, and I feel this is something that is near and dear to my heart. I personally don't struggle with food insecurity, but I'm from a country, I'm from Haiti, and I know I have witnessed families not knowing where the next meal is coming from for their children. For that reason, I think it's a worthy cause to join. It's going to be a road trip. We're going to have 2 double occupancy rooms at American University for lodging. No, 3. So 6 of us can go, and so far I have 2, myself and my daughter, confirmed. And if I could have a few more people from Junction City to do the road trip, we are hoping that the city would be able to see that as an opportunity for us to go to Washington, D.C. and have representation doing something like that, and it'll look good for us, showing that we care about what our constituents go through. We empathize with their needs, and so I just wanted to see if anyone on here would be interested.
I looked up the summit online. Am I correct in understanding that it's happening June 9th and June 10th?
June 9th and 10th.
Okay. I will be in Texas that week for work, so I cannot attend, but I do encourage others to research this summit. Have you contacted any of our food-orientated programs in the county?
I have contacted several people so far. No one seems to be interested, and I understand people have already, and it's kind of brief in a way, because it came to me a little bit brief. I found out about Bread for the World when I went to Topeka with Kansas Appleseed on the Anti-Hunger Day, and I networked with some people, and I met Greg Hunt, who's the Kansas representative for Bread for the World, and he's the one who introduced me to that opportunity. Had I had more time, I would have approached you guys sooner, but I share as I know.
What's the registration cost and the lodging?
The lodging, if we only go with 6 people, we can actually take up to, because my family lives on the East Coast, and I can have lodging for about 4 people. And if we do the 3 double occupancy rooms, so that's 6 more, so we can have up to 10 people go. And those who are staying at American University, they don't have to pay. It's free lodging that they're providing, and they're also providing food for two of the days, the summit day and the advocacy day.
What about the registration?
The registration, they had an early bird registration fee that was $30. That was to, if we registered by April 30th, unfortunately, we missed that deadline. It's $50 now.
Could you email the city manager the registration information so we could see it, rather than to see what this is about? I'm
Yes.
kind of trying to follow you, and I'm not really kind of getting it yet. She's seen it.
Okay. And if there's no further questions, we're at 5 minutes. Are we okay to move on?
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner comments and committee reports. Commissioner Nimzek?
Nothing.
Commissioner Panera?
Nothing.
Vice Mayor Yoswit?
Nothing.
Commissioner Landis?
Mr. Stites, did we ever get Mr. Zimmerman's contract lined up? Did we approve that? Did that ever happen?
Yeah,
The pay raise stuff?
yeah.
Did we do all that?
Yeah, there was an addendum that was done. That was
Somebody
passed.
asked me about that recently.
Yeah.
I was thinking we did, but I'm not sure.
We took care of that, became effective payroll 1 of this year. But with that in mind, come September, we'll start talking about evaluations for this year.
I think the contract officially ends 31 December though.
And then it automatically renews, yes. Yep. Unless it's terminated, but I'm not asking for that at this point.
That's all right, thank you.
The only comment I have is Main Street America and Kansas Main Street is in town for our transformation strategy visit. And thank you to all those who attended the focus groups today. And Mr. Zimmerman, do you have any comment?
I do not, Mayor. Not tonight, thank you.
Mr. Panera? Oopsie daisy. Mr. Stites.
I'll let him speak for himself.
Mr. Stites.
Well, with that, we got about 10 things. No, with personnel policy being passed, thank you, and we'll keep that. We'll bring in presidency later on after things kind of settle down and we get that pushed out. That way we're compliant. But then Mr. Wilcox and I are going to start working on finance and fiscal policy. That was at least recently done in 2021 or so. But we're just going to review that and make sure it's up to where it needs to be, because the feds push out these things called GASBs, which we just want to make sure we're compliant with, as well as we work on Mr. Obermeyer, Dr. Obermeyer, regarding the grant policy as well. So all these things go together, and that way you're just familiar with it, and we're keeping up with that.
Thank you. Mr. Wilcox?
Nothing tonight. I'll say something. If you want to learn more about the budget, the state of Kansas Department of Admin is doing budget webinars, May 12th and 13th, and then it's going to be in person in Topeka on the 14th. Again, I could email this out to you, but if you're like new to the budget, you want to learn more than what I could teach you in the hour that we're together, I would recommend just doing this webinar. It's from 9 to 12 and 1 to 4.
Thank you for sharing that. And I wonder if that's recorded. Do you know if that's recorded?
See, the state of Kansas is weird. They don't like giving stuff out for free. So it's not going to be recorded, and it's weird because if I buy it, you can't sit in the room with me to watch it with me unless we both paid.
Thank you. Mrs. Diaz from Lorenzo. Mr. Farrow, God, I'm tired. Chief Lakes.
Nothing like
Mr. Rivera. Mr. Spraggingast.
Just two things. The ribbon cutting for the new ECC is this Friday at 11 a.m. So I encourage everybody to come out and support that. Also, May 15th through the 18th is the Ride for the Wall. Junction City is one of the major stops during that time period. So you will see a bunch of veterans and motorcycle attendees driving through town, stopping at Heritage Park to admire our wall there while they make their way to DC. And once again, I just wanted to give a good shout out to the residents for the criminal actions, or their actions for the cleanup week. They did an amazing job. Look out for more information on that.
Mr. Gray.
Nothing, Mayor.
Mr. Diesel Camp. Assistant Chief Odell.
Nothing tonight.
Mrs. O'Shea.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.